Welcome guys to my first tutorial, my first video of my tutorial series game of the day. I wanted to create something for you to learn and to at the same time get update with what's happening in the world of chess. Today I'm bringing you the game between Alexander Grischuck and John Christoph Duda, one of the best players. Both are in the top 10 players in the world, or top 15, and one of the most popular players in the world as of today. This game was an extremely good lesson on Grischuck side. You will find not only good opening repertoire, you're gonna find also good tactics and a very nice technique by Grischuck. So without any further ado, let's begin with the game. Grischuck picked the d4. He can play anything obviously, but d4 it's a very popular opening, and Duda picked the Queen's Indian, one of the most solid defenses against the Queen's Gambit. I really like the fianchetto line, and this game really shows you how to play against this bishop a6 idea. b3 is a typical way to protect. Bishop b4 check, bishop d2. I'm not gonna talk that much about the opening, but all I have to say is that white wants to trade this black bishop because it's technically the bad bishop, and a lot of the time white has a hard time positioning this bishop without giving it up. Black plays this check, goes back to have something to attack in the future when he goes to e4. Now, one of the things white tries to do on this type of positions to play the move e4, and black right away goes against it and doesn't let that happen. He's fighting for the center. One castle move that is already very tactical. So we are in move 8 in the game, and you can see how white is giving up the c4 pawn. Unfortunately for black, that's not possible because pawn takes pawn, bishop takes c4, and then the amazing move knight c3, and white has a huge compensation for that pawn, and knight e5 is coming. So a decent continuation, and probably the best, will be bishop d5. That's answered by knight takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, and knight e5. And once again, the pair of bishops and the semi-open files will give white a huge compensation for the pawn. Black, Duda, didn't go for this d takes c4 move. Instead, he decided to decline the pawn sacrifice and went for castle. Knight e5, obviously now pawn takes pawn is not an option. Then black continue with c6, and at that point black is not really taking the pawn, but black is trying to develop, get all the pieces out. Knight bd7 is not possible because this pawn is hanging, but knight fd7 is possible, and in fact that's what happened next. Bishop c3, knight fd7. Knight takes knight is a threat because the pawn on c4 is still hanging. But now comes one of my favorite move of the game, a move that for many people would have been impossible to see. Grischuck is thinking, I have more space, I have a little more initiative, and when you do that, when you have those things, most of the time trading pieces can only help your opponent. In this game, if you do knight takes knight, for example, I can just go knight takes knight, and now you just develop one of my pieces. I got rid of one of my best knights, well, my best knight for sure, and one of my best pieces, that's what I meant, and I still have to protect this pawn. Now Grischuck did one amazing move here in this position, knight d3, and I think that move was probably one of the key to winning this game, because it obviously, you know what, I'm not gonna trade that knight, I'm not gonna develop this one, but I'm also giving up the pawn. And well, what can black do? You can come back, then I will continue my development, and hopefully I guarantee the move e4 white is definitely better here. Instead, Duda took the pawn, going for the pawn, because I thought, you know, that makes sense. Why not? I would have taken the pawn. And now the tactics continue. Knight b4, giving up the pawn but trying to get the bishop on a6. And like the example before, you could be down a pawn in this type of positions, but if you have the pair of bishops, you have a huge compensation, and that is what Grischuck is trying to get here. So pawn takes pawn, knight takes bishop. Now white is down a pawn still, but look at the initiative, right? This bishop is a monster. This pawn is almost hanging, and well, tactically speaking, now finally white gets the pawn back. This is the moment where white simply has a huge advantage, and black is forced to play the simple rook b8, the passive rook b8, because rook c8 would have been horrible as bishop b7. Rook takes bishop, knight takes b2, rook b1. I'm going a little fast on this because I want to point out the final very nice move, knight d5, and the final idea is that the b2 pawn cannot be hold, and so black loses any compensation that could be based on this pawn. So white has a huge advantage after this position. So probably possibly winning, and would have not changed the result of the game. So Duda instead went for rook b8, and now pawn takes pawn, and here we are with after all these crazy tactics and strategy, white is finally up a pawn. Now this is actually one of the most difficult moments for any player. You're up a pawn, but you're playing a very strong guy like Duda. You have to finish it up. You don't want to make a draw. You want to play correctly. And one of the most underrated, you know, and simple ways to play chess is how if you have an advantage, you should trade all your pieces. Well, that's exactly what happened in this game. But it's not easy. You have to play well. You have to play the strong move. Don't give up initiative by, let's say, giving up the bishop for the knight, or giving up the bad piece for another because you think you're trading. No, it depends on the position. So knight f6 was played, the only move, e3, protecting the d4 pawn, and then now the moves are straightforward. White simply moves back. We still have a problem here though, the knight on b1, and obviously the next move should be the developing move, and that's exactly what Grischuck did. And now I'm going knight c4, and I'm getting my last bad piece into the game, and I'm out of a pawn. So the game continued trading. Well, that's good for me. Let's trade. And knight c4. Now my knight's coming to e5 with possible ideas like knight c6. Black goes bishop f8 to try to avoid some of those annoying forks. Queen a1 taking over the file, but most important, bringing the rook into the game. We wanna activate all your pieces. And then b5, knight e5. Of course, there's no better place for that knight in this position, except for maybe knight c6. And now queen b6. What do you need on this position? Trades and more trades. That's exactly what Grischuck does. So we traded the two rooks. Now it's time to trade the other pieces. But it doesn't come so easy. For example, if you trade the knights in this position, you could actually get complicated, because you can get into some type of different call of bishop endgames that can be a draw. So keeping the knight, especially this knight that is more active, might be a good idea. That's why Grischuck doesn't just go for trading like crazy. He's trading only what is convenient to him. So then now b4, bishop b7, and one of the biggest, these moves were kind of, I don't think black played very well. Black was probably very disappointed. Bishop c6, and now you see what's happening. Black is going for the bishop e8, and there's nothing black can do to stop it. It's really annoying. So black goes bishop a7, and bishop e8 happens anyway, and to end the game, after knight takes bishop, white goes knight d7, and you know, it could have been queen takes knight, would have been also a pretty big advantage, but this move ends the game, and Duda resign, and he doesn't even continue, and with reasoning behind, because the position is completely lost, especially at this level. So the game ended here, but I want to go on with what happened if the game continues. And it could have been knight d7, and only move is queen c7, queen takes 9. I'm taking the bishop. Only move is queen d6. You can give me a check if you want. That's not gonna do much though, because I have king h3 if I want to. The point is that you're not gonna give me more checks. So you will have to go queen d6. And of course, if I am up a pawn in this position, in any position, I want to get to a winning king endgame. So this is something that a grandmaster or someone who has some technique and understanding of chess would not think. You would just do it, think later. And then what happened is that when you have your up a pawn, you will always have more tempos. You're gonna have an extra pawn to move. So at some point, white will give you a square, and then it will give you this pawn, and the game is simply over. So I hope, guys, you enjoyed this game. It has values everywhere. Good technique, good opening repertoire, good tactics, good strategy. Very, very easy to understand. And something very important that you will see a lot, and is one of the hardest things to learn in chess: the concept of initiative. How initiative can compensate for material. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel or follow me on YouTube, on Twitch. I will be doing one of these videos almost every day. Have a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.